Pretty sure I set everything up. Pretty sure we're good. Okay. Started right at 11, but what are you going to do? All right. I kind of just want to like jump right into it. I don't really want to do this. I do want to like go over what I did, which is, I don't know about this. Signals of value with subscribers. But I think the thing that I'm missing here is that there's no runtime. And so I make a new signal. Set and get works. Let mute signal. I'm not like super. So let's see. Set and get. It's so funny that I wrote this because this is exactly what I wanted. Let's see. So if I subscribe, I gotta subscribe, right? So this should happen automatically, right? I should just be able to say get, like the signal function should. It should subscribe to any changes automatically, right? I mean, this definitely can't work, right? Because now I need the reason this doesn't work is because I need hang on, let me bring up the key map real quick. Oh yeah, the reason this doesn't work is because I need that runtime, right? I don't know. Is this even like a good thing? I feel like it'd be better if we just had like a real database, right? On the client. And then we just did hypermedia on the client. I don't know. I don't know why I feel that way. It feels kind of limiting to like use this reactive runtime. I mean, I feel like what I want is just like update this thing, and then at the same time like have global state. You know what I just realized? I forgot. Wait, didn't I redo this? Didn't I redo this? Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. But I do want to kind of get into it. I've watched it before, but we're gonna speed run it because it's like 40 minutes long, and I'll do the opposite of what React people do. Is we'll just uh, we'll just totally speed run it. Oh yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, so this should return the signal, and then this should like subscribe. But then see, now I need it to be mutable, right? And so like, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, so oh, you know what? Maybe I don't want that actually. Um, yeah, maybe this was fine. Because maybe the subscribe happens when you do like the on-click handler or whatever, right? I don't know. I mean, maybe I just like didn't understand like what I was doing. Anyway, we're gonna go over it. All right. Let me turn off the music real quick because it like is a weird like it's like a weird low like a low energy like thing.
Hi, this is Greg, creator of the
Hey,
leptos
Greg.
web framework for Rust.
All right,
I've got
I
a lot
have
of
watched this
questions about
before,
how the
so
reactive
we're gonna
system work
skip.
exists
We're gonna
to
skip
get
all
rid of
this.
some of the noise of all of the sys, WAS, and bindgen UI creation. I am using some leptos helpers here, to be fair, just to get rid of some
I
of
don't
the
know
noise
why,
of all of the
but I get like
options and
early
results
Zuckerberg
that
vibes
that
from
WebSys
Greg
gives you here.
Johnston. Like
But
the
so we're
way
just
he
gonna start with
talks,
a body
not the way he
tag, right,
looks.
which we're going to unwrap because we know it exists. And then let's just create a few elements. So we're going to create this paragraph element, and then we're going to create two
What's
buttons,
crazy?
which I'm going to call ink and deck. We're going to do a really
Oh,
simple
you know what?
counter
Actually,
example
hold on. I'm gonna start over. Hold on, because I want to try to make a YouTube video out of this. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Learning leptos. Build a fine-grained reactive system in 100 lines of code in Rust, by the way. All right.
I've gotten a lot of questions
I don't
about
know.
how
I'm trying to look at
the
the camera more.
reactive system works.
It's not good.
In particular, sort of two categories.
All right, we're going to skip
Number
this.
one exists.
Okay.
And then let's just create a few elements. So we're going to create this
If
paragraph element.
If
and
you're
then we're gonna
wondering,
create,
by the way,
two
what
buttons.
if you're wondering how he's doing this, fn main, and just having a main rs, it's trunk. Trunk is the answer, right? And then this is a crate, console error panic hook. WebSys is a crate, and then he's using leptos itself. But trunk with a blank index.html is how you do it. I had to figure that
which
out.
I'm going to call ink and deck. We're going to do a really simple counter example today.
It's always a counter.
One button is going to increment the value, one is going to decrement.
It's always a counter.
So for the increment, let's set its text content.
I don't know. Maybe
2 plus 1.
Yeah, maybe it's wrong.
And deck, we're going to.
I mean, maybe we do want local state.
-1.
Maybe
this
we
is
don't.
The kind of stuff that you would
maybe you just want a database on the front end.
If you're actually using the leptos
right?
framework. But this is just how you would manually create.
And we just want to say, hey, change this
set the
bit.
Text content on the P as well, and we're just going to call it not reactive.
Like, change this ID,
and then
or change this set of IDs.
Append these all just straight into our body, and let's
and just return back some HTML.
First.
You know.
Then
must be a junior dev. Look, I don't want to judge anyone, Rexace. All right, I don't want to judge anyone. Okay, but clearly the guy who made leptos is
we should see
clearly junior.
Yep, we've got our -1, not reactive yet, +1. That's great. So these don't do anything.
Wait, is this the meme?
Let's add
is this
the listeners to the buttons?
Is this the mid meme?
Add event listener.
The
again,
bell curve.
This is where I am using
where it's like
some of the
VS Code on either side
from leptos, because the actual messiness of the way you do it with WAS and bind gen is just going to be a distraction from what we're trying to do. So let's now just log. So when we click the decrement, we'll log -1, and when we do the increment, we'll click +1.
Look, what's crazy though is like if you look at the HTML, or if you look at this Rust for a second, I mean, he wraps the JavaScript APIs pretty well in leptos. Like this might as well be JavaScript, right? Or it might as well be TypeScript, right? It doesn't look too much different. Like too much different? It doesn't look too different. Some is here, but like other than that, and like he's ignoring results here, but that's fine. All right. I'm going to have to skip because this is a 41-minute video, 41-minute long video.
A value, we need to tell it the type. Again, this will be done by the view macro automatically. It's going to be a mouse event because it's the click event. Okay. So now when I click -1, I get a nice -1, nice +1, but obviously no values here. Okay, so let's set up reactive system, add event listeners, just so we can visually see the different parts of this. I love how the comments are green, so it kind of like sets apart different areas of the code. All right, so what do we want to do?
It's so funny.
What we usually call like CX context in leptos or in.
Wait, can we hear are we hearing this? Oh yeah, we are.
Whatever, where you're passing this stuff through in Rust, because we don't just use like global variables for this stuff, right? I don't know what type we want this to be yet.
I love how he's like surprised that the comments are green in VS Code. It's like he literally picked up a computer yesterday and was like, I'm gonna learn Rust, and I'm gonna make a reactive front end thing with Rust, like as a pastor,
We'll figure that out together. All right, and then we're gonna want to do something like
it's crazy.
Let count equals cx.create signal 0. You'll see the syntax here will be a little bit different because it's just gonna be a really, really simple example. And then we want to do create effect. And
I
we
guess what I
probably
want to
want
know
to do something like
is how did they get rid of
p.set
the
text
context, right?
Some
Is it a
right,
macro? Did they just macro it away?
string, right? We just want to like convert this value into a string
We should look at that after this.
and set the text content
In the
of that
leptos
p
source.
that's not reactive yet to this value. So obviously this isn't going to compile. All of this stuff is nonsense, right? But so let's start with this CX. What do we need? We need something like a scope.
Demontos, what's
I'm
up?
actually going to call it a runtime.
Global thread locals.
Internally in leptos, there is a difference between scope and a runtime. There are a bunch of scopes in a single runtime.
So the context is just is global,
But
right?
so great. Okay, so we're going to call that a runtime. And what I really want is a static reference to a runtime.
Oh, that's what Dioxys does.
And
Hey, speaking of Dioxys,
the reason that
Dude,
that's what I want
Demontos.
to implement default on this
hot
is
reloading. We gotta hold on. I know I'm trying to make a YouTube video out of this thing, but we gotta take 2 seconds. Okay, we gotta take 2 seconds, and go over to and not get distracted by whatever else is on X or Twitter or whatever it's called. We gotta go straight over here, right? We gotta go straight to Dioxys, and we have to look at this for 1 second. Okay, let's look at this one. Look at this. Look at this video. Let's make this bigger. All right, so on the right is like the Dioxys desktop app, and then on the left is code. But like before in Dioxys, I just have to explain this to people who don't know what Dioxys is. First of all, Dioxys is a Rust UI library. It's cross-platform. It does everything. It's incredible. It runs on the web. It runs on desktop, mobile, iOS, Android, right? And it's all desktops too, Linux, Mac, Windows, I think. And so what's happening here, right, for those uninitiated, is that this is Rust code, okay? And historically, like there was some efforts to make the hot reloading happen, but there were some limitations in Dioxys where you could only reload stuff inside of the RSX macro, and only then you can only do things that didn't depend on like variables outside of the macro, right? And when I say RSX, I mean like JSX, but Rust, right? And so now the mad lads at Dioxys Labs have got real Rust binary patching working, right? So like as the binary's running, like as the code is running, they are patching the library, or they're patching the binary code, right? So like they load a dy lib, and they're like changing it on the fly, and it only takes like 300 milliseconds. So this is hot reloading, right? This is real hot reloading in Rust in Dioxys. It's really cool. Like honestly, I should just give up. I should just give up and just use Dioxys. I don't know what's wrong with me. One thing I think that I came across, that if you don't like this, there's a way to convert if you copy and paste Tailwind components, right? No, it's not like live view. This is client side, right? This is not over WebSocket. This is well, it is over WebSocket, but it's not live view, right? You don't have to set anything up. Dioxys handles it for you, right? I mean, it is over WebSocket. It's client side. Yeah. So this is a desktop app, right? But it's using Dioxys. So this is really cool. I mean, I think this is the first time that a GUI library in Rust has had hot reloading, right? So yeah, I should just use Dioxys. But I think there's a tool that you can use to, if you copy and paste Tailwind components or whatever components, you can convert the HTML to Dioxys if you do web stuff. But I honestly think the web is, it's just one platform that Dioxys targets. And I don't think I'm like focused on it myself, but like maybe I shouldn't be, right? Maybe I should just embrace the RSX. Yeah, but it's really cool. Anyway, now that Demontos is in here, I just wanted to highlight that. And we should all be using Dioxys, really. I mean, we don't even use leptos, really,
Cool. Why do I want a static runtime?
All right.
Basically,
we're back to the video.
this main function runs when I load the application. When the Java, we load an index.html, it loads some JavaScript to call the WASM, and then when it calls that WebAssembly function, it's going to run this main function once.
So I think
So
the
it's going to
most
create all these
important
things,
part
and
here
that's going to Rust.
is that this right here, this box leak, right, is important, right? Because in leptos, you're just on the page, right? Like if you refresh the page, all the memory gets wiped away by the tab process. So we don't necessarily care about Rust's like memory stuff here. So we'll just have it run forever, right? So this is gonna live as long as the page lives.
This main function runs when I load the application. When the Java, we load an index.html, it loads some JavaScript to call the WASM, and then when it calls that WebAssembly function, it's going to run this main function once. So it's going to create all these things, and then it's going to drop all of them immediately when they go out of scope at the end of the main function. The only part of this that lives a long time are these event listeners, because these get converted into JavaScript functions and kind of sent over to JavaScript to handle the memory there, and attached as event listeners. So everything that's inside these callbacks, this callback needs to have a static lifetime, which means in Rust it lives for the lifetime of the whole application.
Oh, he's talking about it.
And there are a couple ways we could do that. Like we could wrap
he's going to talk about
runtime in an RC, a reference counting, a kind of garbage collection that gives us an owned RC pointer to each of the things. That's fine. We could do that. We're actually just going to leak it, right? So here I just box it and then leak it, and that gives us a static reference to the runtime. That's really important for us because now this is copy and RC is not copy. So we're going to actually stash this reference all over the place, and we want it to be a copy type. Okay, so now we've got the context, right? But we don't have create signal or create effect functions, as Rust Analyzer is very helpfully telling me. So we'll want those to be right on the runtime. And create signal is going to take, a reference to that runtime and a value, which is some t, and then it's going to return a signal t. And so obviously this needs to be generic over t. But we're not really sure how that's going to work yet.
Obviously.
And then create effect is a really simple signature.
Yeah,
it's
obviously.
In this case, let's call that static self again. It's just implements function and is static. And it's going to do something. Okay, so let's start with create signal. And first, actually, let's just flesh out the rest of the application, right? So what we want to do here, right, we've got this effect that's going to set the text content. So in these listeners, what we want to do is basically get the current value of it and then set that to the new value. In actual leptos, you can do something like count.update that takes a mutable reference to this. We're not going to do that in this really simple example. So that's why we're doing the separate getter and setter. And you'll see we'll run into some ref cell related issues if I try to get this inside the setter, I'm pretty sure. So we're just going to do it like this.
No good, Nick.
You'll see why in a second. So this is actually
this is the guy who made leptos.
+1. Cool.
So he's explaining the runtime.
The whole effect. This, once we've actually implemented the reactive system.
Like if you've heard of Solid.js, right? They have something called signals or like Preact, right? So here's leptos, right? This doesn't tell you what's good. Oh, here we go. So here's leptos, right? And so can I zoom in? I don't know how to zoom in. Hold on. Let me get my keyboard up. Hold on. There we go. All right. I got a new keyboard. I don't know how it works. Okay, let me see. Here we go. And then this, and then plus, right? Oh my gosh. What do I do? Plus? There we go. We know how to use the keyboard. Okay, so you like annotate this as a component, right? It's kind of like React or Solid, right? But in Rust, right? So like here you like create this signal. This is what we're making right now. Just this, right? This thing that creates a signal. There's a global runtime thing that's static, right? Oh, Rust, now it makes sense. Yeah. So set count.update, right? And then you can like dereference and, add the thing to 0, right? And then the count increments, right? This is crazy. This is nightly. You can't do this outside of nightly. You'd have to call count.get, but yeah. So like this is how it works, right? And then he goes, okay, so how does it work, right? So like this is really cool, right? It's really kind of a cool thing. Um, so I was like, how can I do this myself? Right. And then he made a whole video about it. So I'm just going to go through it.
This is going to power the whole thing. So we shouldn't need to write any more. If you think of this as kind of the user land code, like what you're writing in your application, this create effect is kind of the equivalent of using the view macro to do something like
Context. You see that?
this, right?
But look,
We've
the
got a
new
ping
version
tag
doesn't have
with
any.
this block inside it,
Look at that.
and this block is count.get.
Rust seems great conceptually, and the people all around Rust seem like good people.
When you
Look,
what the view macro
this
does
guy's
is
a
it actually
pastor.
creates these effects
Okay,
for you. It creates
this guy
the
is a
DOM nodes,
pastor.
and then
All
it
right.
creates these effects for these.
But why does the
targeted
language
updates.
itself look so
So it's
bad?
basically wrapping this same function.
No good Nick. Okay, beauty is in the
effect
eye
to
of the
say
beholder. All
whenever
right.
this needs to rerun.
Look, the thing about it is like the thing about it is you can I look at Rust as a statically typed I look at it as a statically typed Ruby. Honestly, nobody's perfect. Yeah, nobody's perfect. But like if you look at this return value, it's like kind of noisy, right? And like this is also pretty noisy. But to tell you the truth, like yeah, it's super elegant. But I mean, to tell you the truth, it's like I like the fact that you can see at a glance that something is gonna error, right? Like this is I mean, that's a pathological example, right? Like it's not I see how people call beautiful, they have no right to judge. Yeah. Set count update. Oh, this? Yeah. Like this dereference, it so I guess that's like there this is how I see it, right? Is there's a little bit of noise you have to add to your code, but it's a trade-off, right? Like syntactically, it doesn't seem like it does a lot and like, oh, it's ugly. But the trade-off is if you just add this star to your variable here, think about what that buys you. Like all of a sudden, you're not writing JavaScript on the front end. And all of a sudden, you don't need a huge runtime, right? And you can compile statically to a binary, cross compile to Linux, ship the single binary with all your assets to the server. Is it like the benefits I think outweigh the thinking about what little memory management we have to think about, like that's where I'm at. You could just do set count as well. Yeah. Leptos lets you. Yeah. This native UI. No, it is HTML. This is HTML. But if you don't like this, right? Dioxys is the better version. Leptos it got some play or whatever early, but honestly it's far so this is the same thing in Dioxys, right? Where's my key? I can't even do. What do I do? This? Did I do this? There we go. There we go. All right. So this function here, and then you do use signal, and it's mutable, and you could just do count plus equals 1, right? So it takes ownership, and I don't know if did the Leptos example take ownership? No, it didn't. That's why you have to dereference. But yeah, if you just call move, and then you can like move so in Dioxys, all the signals are like using this generational box thing and all this. So you think about memory a lot less, right? RSX, Rexace, yeah. Look, you can't spell Rexace without RSX. Okay. Yeah. So the reason why this is not HTML, right? There is still JavaScript underneath. Yes. So no good Nick, you need JavaScript still to interact with the DOM. But in Dioxys, it's optional. Like this is cross-platform. That's why it's not HTML, right? Sorry, I thought my wife said something. So yeah, this is not HTML because this runs on the desktop and web and mobile, right? So does it make sense to like do HTML if you're doing cross-platform? Not really, right? So Dioxys is definitely the better of the two. But yeah. What was I saying? The X comes before the S.
Set the text content of this one thing. It actually is working with a text node there, not the text content of the element, but that doesn't really matter. But so this reactive system is exactly almost what the output of the view macro looks like, but we're going to do the whole thing just in vanilla for ourselves. Cool. Okay, so then let's start fleshing some of this stuff out. So we create a signal, and it's returning a signal, but we don't have an actual signal type yet. So let's define that. So it's going to be a struct signal t. We're going to derive copy and clone on it because this is one of the really useful characteristics of signals in leptos. They are a copy type. You can just move them into and out of closures. You can do whatever you want with them, throw them out. It doesn't matter. They're just a stable reference into the reactive system. So the type that this needs to take is it's going to take a static reference to the runtime, right? Which is why I leaked that instead of doing something like an RC, right? Because this is copy. So now we can just do exactly that same thing. It's just copying this reference to that runtime object. And this isn't a memory leak per se when we leak it, right?
Even though it says leak.
This once, ever. So it's just a single allocation up front. It's not leaking it by running over and over or something.
Right.
Okay. And then it's going to take an ID, which is, we're going to call a signal ID. And that signal ID is a type that we'll talk about
in this case,
bit.
It does. A static reference means
yet,
that it lasts the lifetime.
So let's define it right.
A static reference means it lasts the lifetime, or it means that typically it means that it lasts the lifetime of the running code, right? But since we're just in a tab in Chrome, a static reference that is leaked just means that it lives as long as the tab process does, right?
Right here.
So when you reload the page,
like define a bunch of traits,
it gets cleaned up.
But it's just going to be a wrapper around like usize, right? We'll talk about that in a second. And now it's going to complain at me, right? Because I want this signal to be typed. I want it to have a type T that indicates the type of the signal. Like I want this to be a signal I32, right? So all that we need to do is just tell Rust that by saying this is a
phantom data
field. This only exists basically at compile time. It's to be able to type this thing when neither the signal ID nor the runtime has that generic type, and it will just disappear. It doesn't add any cost to the structure. Okay, so now we've got our signal. We've got our signal ID.
You know you're deep in it when you're using phantom data.
Make this thing happen? How do we create a signal? So kind of the key here is that all of the signals that you're using and all of the effects are just indexes into some point in the reactive system. For a copy type to be useful, you kind of need it to, one, be very small in memory, so it's very cheap to copy, right? But copying it needs to preserve the same exact meaning, in a sense. So like if we just had I've used this example in the stream I did with Ryan Carniato, but if we were just doing like let mute count equals 0, right? This is a copy type. We could do, count plus equals 1. We could do, oops, I keep getting these backwards. Count minus equals 1. We could do count plus equals 1. But because this is just a plain copy type, like this will copy 0 into one place and 0 into the other place such that it's almost like you're doing this. But 0 doesn't refer to the same 0, if that makes sense. So now when you click these buttons,
makes sense.
You're actually changing two different states. Like each one works within its event listener, but you have these stale closures where it's no longer updating this variable that exists on the outside, it's copying it in. So instead, we want some kind of copy type that is a stable reference. And so we're going to make this type that's a reference into the single runtime system that we share. And that's where kind of the shared state lives in this runtime. And the way that we're going to do that is with a really simple form of arena allocation. It's not even really arena allocation, but it's like it. And you would never do this in a real system. This isn't what leptos actually does. We use a crate called slot map, which is definitely the go-to. But you'll just see, see how
Let's
this works, and bear with me for a
actually,
second.
I would
So let's call.
say, so this was a year ago, right? I'm actually kind of like, what did you call it? Slot map? Oh shoot! How many? Jeez. All right, never mind then. Never mind. Slot. So slot map, hop slot map, and dense slot map. Oh, I can't even say it. All right, so slot map, which sounds like slop. I don't know why. I can't. I want to say slop. They should just call it slop. Okay, so let's see. sm.insert. Okay. sm foo, sm bar. Oh, you can like, oh, wow. Look at that. It's like a vec. Interesting. Remove, insert, reuse, contains key, bar. After deletion, a key stays invalid. Okay. Okay, so 3 contain with persistent unique keys to access stored values. Upon insertion, can be used later access or remove the values. Insertion and access all take O one time and low overhead. Okay. Great for storing collect that need a stable, safe references but have no clear ownership otherwise, such as game entities or graph nodes. There you go.
All the signal values. We're only ever going to have an immutable reference to this thing, so we're going to wrap pretty much everything in a ref cell. And then let's just say this is a vec, and let's see. This is a vec of all the values of all the signals, right? That's signals of any type. So let's go up here just to make the types a little less messy. Let's say signal value, and that's going to be box, ref cell, din any. And the reason it has this type, right? Din any tells Rust, this could be any type, and I'm going to downcast it to the correct type at runtime. Ref cell says I need to be able to mutate this thing, right? Because we need to be able to change the value of that signal. And it's boxed because it's a trait object. Any. So we just have this
I wonder if you can
signal values, right?
I wonder if you can.
So what do? It gives us a value, and we
do a generic
go into signal values, borrow mute, and we push.
Or maybe do like a.
And then we box new, ref cell, new value. And then how do we get the ID? Well, the ID is just an index in this vector where this value can be found. So we know this value will always live at 0. This is the first one we're pushing in. So the ID is just going to be signal ID, self.signalvalues.borrow.len -1, right? Like it's just the last thing we pushed in.
Yeah.
And that's really all we need, right? Now we can return a signal. CX
what would that be like?
Is going
monomorphization,
to be self,
is what you call that, kind of?
And this is why we take a static reference to self up here. ID is just going to be the ID, and the type is just a phantom data.
Phantom data.
And we've just created a signal. And apparently added an extra.
There you go.
Why is that?
It's just 2. Just give it a second. It's JavaScript, you know? Oh, he just deleted it.
Yeah, whatever. We're just going to inline it in there. It doesn't matter.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
So now we've got create signal, but we don't have get, and we don't have set. And of course, create effect doesn't do anything. So let's work on the getter and the setter first. So we're going to go into this signal type.
I wish this code was somewhere that I could just copy paste.
And get should just take a reference to self.
But yeah, it doesn't look like it's anywhere.
Return t. And set should take a reference to self and a value and return nothing. All right, and so what do we need to do? We need to get the value. We have the ID, right, stored in here, and we have the runtime. So we need to go into the runtime, into signal values, and get the value that's at that ID. I'm going to do this in a couple different steps, partly for clarity and partly because with ref cell stuff, Rust is going to complain at me if I don't store some of these intermediate steps. All right, so let's say self.cx, the runtime, .signalvalues.borrow, and then we're going to index into that with self.id.0. It's that usize we're storing in there, right? So now we've got a boxed ref cell din any. We're getting there. So let's say value equals value.borrow, right? It's inside that ref cell. So now we've got just a ref din any. And then the way that you get the actual type is downcast ref, and we specify the type.
Dang.
And this can be any type, right? We're saying. So it's going to give us an option because maybe there's a type T there, or maybe not. We stored it there. We know it's there. We're just going to
Unwrap.
And then this gives us a reference to T. And for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to clone. In regular leptos, there is instead this with function, right? Where instead of cloning the value, reference. I can run this closure against the value, so I don't need to clone it.
Right.
Let's just keep things simple, right? And we're actually going to say it's static 2 because
it needs to be.
That's important for the any stuff. Has to be a static type. Okay, so now we're getting it, right? Cool. And then for setting it,
I can't believe I understand this.
We're going to do the same exact thing. Right, index in here.
Yep.
Except for the wrapper, we're going to do wrapper dot borrow mute, right? Because we want to mutate the thing. And then we've got this mutable reference to it, and we need to downcast it again to the proper type. Value.downcast, wrapper.downcast mute.
Dude, this video is like all signal. It's hard to skip.
We still know that it's the right T because we put it there. And cool, so now we've got a mutable reference to T, and super easy, we just wrapper equals value, right? So that sets the value.
I do wonder though, it's almost like we just want a client-side database.
Got a few comments for later. Okay, so now we've got a set value, we've got a get value.
Like a reactive
function,
database.
Get function rather. I need to add the same bounds on here, that's fine. And we are missing, let's see, these, it wants me to put references, and that's all fine. This is just, reading what Rust Analyzer gives you back, right? Okay, but so this create effect does nothing. So the reactive system, right, consists of two halves, which are signals and effects. Signals are values that change over time. Effects are functions that run in reaction to those changes. So you need to know, well, when do I need to rerun this effect? And the answer is, I need to rerun an effect
on set
whenever a signal is set that I know the effect depends on.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do I know that the effect depends on this signal?
I almost feel like we're over-engineering this. I don't know why.
And if you see, oh, and by the way, I'm now getting a bunch of errors right here because I just need to put move on
like
all
maybe,
of these
maybe
so that
we just
they
need
are static lifetimes, right? But
HTMX plus a client-side database
that needs to move in.
I don't know.
And
maybe
we have
that's an
implemented
oversimplification.
copy on this
Still thinking about
signal. It's going to just move those all in really easily. All right, so how do we know that this effect depends on this signal? If you look in the body of the effect, right, you have this create effect, set text content, count.get.toString. So somehow, when we do count.get,
Meteor,
it needs to tell this effect.
Oh, could you imagine count, right? Meteor JS?
So it would be great if we had some way of knowing
also,
whether there's an effect.
I just want to say something. Like, if you're watching this and you're like, oh yeah, like runtime systems, like this is great. This DX is so good. I will say that like there was a story, right? Let's see, levels IO, Meteor JS. I wish I could. I could barely type on this keyboard. Oh my gosh, Perplexity. Why did I do this? Dang it. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know. So dumb. DuckDuckGo.com. Okay. All right. I can barely type on this thing. Levels.io, Meteor JS story. I didn't even spell that right. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. I don't actually know. Let me see. It's so new. It's probably not. But it kind of, I'll just summarize it if I can't find it. Let's see. Meteor. All right. Coldflow, what's up? So the summary is like, so if you don't know who Levels IO is, right? Oh my gosh, how do I do this? Is it this? There we go. Levels I mean, DHH is another one too, right? But yeah, so this guy, I mean, I don't know if you believe him, but I believe him, right? So he makes websites, right? And so these are the how much money he makes roughly per month, right? Like this is revenue. It's not profit, right? At least I think it's not profit. I don't know. But yeah, so he uses famously, he uses PHP and jQuery. And one of the stories from 10, 12 years ago now, I just want to say we're the same age, but my pay has only gone like this, and like his has gone like this, right? Comparatively. Um, so it's like you can learn all this complicated stuff. Um, but it just depends on what your goals are, right? So the story is I think he has like a brother or someone, like a friend, and his friend at the time, Meteor JS, which no one even knows what that is. Like, I should make a tweet. Like, so Meteor JS was a framework back in the day. Apparently, some random companies use this, but uh, apparently it was a thing back in the day, and I think there was a reactive database or something. And his friend or whoever, uh, his friend, wait, is there an ad right now? Should I just stop talking? Should I wait? Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Okay, here we go. Starts in 4. Okay. So his friend or whoever learned Meteor JS because it was the hot thing at the time, right? And his friend just like never shipped, right? His friend never wound up shipping, and he did, right? And he kept on shipping, right? He famously did like 12 projects in a year, right? One per month. And he just kept throwing up just the crappiest PHP apps you've ever seen, PHP and jQuery apps. But like no one cared, right? And the fact is that his friend who was like struggling learning Meteor JS didn't ship anything, and he shipped 12 projects in a year. And those 12 projects served as the marketing to like bootstrap him into relevance, I guess, right? And he found like he eventually found one that hit, which was like Nomad List. Um, and so yeah, and it's funny. Nomad List started as an Excel spreadsheet, so like I don't know if there's a new Next.js whatever thing. It's like you just have to be mindful of what your goals are. Um, and if your goals are to make money, you should probably not learn the thing. And the goal is to like get in front of people and market. Um, because at the end of the day, the best marketing wins, right? I say this all the time, but yeah, but it's really fun. Like learning Meteor, whatever this is, whatever this thing is, and like Next.js or whatever is really fun. But at the end of the day, it just depends on what your goals are. If you need money or you want more money, you should probably focus on just shipping, right? However that looks.
So let's just do that, right? So let's say running effect.
Next.js fun.
Go up
Yeah,
into
not
our
Next.js. Probably not that
this is
one,
just gonna
but
be a
you know,
cell
this is fun, right?
Option, say effect ID. Just
I love
we have a
money.
signal ID. We don't have an
Dude,
effect
you
ID
don't want to
type
love
yet, but
money.
let's
That's
just-
the root
let's
of
just
all
make one,
evil.
just a
Okay, the love of
copy paste,
money
right?
is the root of all evil.
Cool.
You don't want to do that. Money is good.
So running effect.
The
And then what
love
do we want to do,
of
right?
money.
So like we said, if you
don't
are
want that.
getting a signal inside an effect, it
All
needs
day.
to somehow notify that
Mr.
effect, or
Krabs.
it needs to register itself in some sense.
All right.
So
It's got to register.
add subscribers. If let some running effect
But I will say, like, you can make better
equals
stuff
context.running effect.get.
using Dioxys.
What
You
do
have
we
two
do?
hands.
Well, maybe we need some kind of list of subscribers,
Jeez.
right?
You can
Let's go
you
back
can
up
make
into our
better stuff
runtime.
using
Everything
Dioxys
is
than you
gonna live
can
in
with
the
PHP
runtime.
and
This is why the
jQuery.
signals are so cheap, because they don't have to maintain any of their own state. They just need to know who they are, and the runtime will do the rest. So let's call it signal subscribers. And what does this need to be? So we basically want to map between signal IDs and like a hash set, like a set of effect IDs, because we want to know for any given signal which effects depend on it. So let's do that. Let's do a ref cell. Again, using a hash map is not actually the best way to do this. if you want to look at the internals of leptos, we're using slot map and a secondary map, right? Whatever. Hash map is going to work fine for us the way we're doing it right here. So it's just a hash
I
map
would
between a
probably
signal
just
ID,
do this legitly.
and then
Like when it comes to the
this
shark
is going to
stack,
be,
I would do
a
this
hash
legitimately.
set of effect IDs. This should be fine. So if there's some running effect,
But I also will
we
say
want to
this,
add
like,
a subscriber. So
if you've been programming for so long that your mind has been so warped by like all this stuff, then obviously the prospect of using PHP and jQuery will not get you to ship. Like whatever gets you programming, that's the thing you should use. And so for me, it's Rust, right? Which also means I have to sort of put up with like a lot of complexity. But I think like stuff like leptos and dioxys like takes it away. So like my ultimate goal is to ship, right? But I've just been, my mind has been so tarnished by all this like craziness that just like the idea of like refreshing the page over and over again, like trying to wrangle jQuery with data attributes. Ugh. Ugh.
So we want to do like subs equals self.cx.signal subscribers dot, and here we're going to do take a mutable reference to it, and then we're going to do subs.entry self.id.
I think I am going to go back to dioxys though.
And what that does, right, is if you're not familiar with the hash map APIs here, this checks if there's already an entry in the map for this signal ID, and if not, it creates one, and it's just going to be this or default, which is going to be an empty hash set. And let's see, I think Rust Analyzer is unhappy with me about something, and that is fine.
Ready to ship Scratch and Prod.
Oh, I think I haven't
Dude, could you
imported hash set. Fine.
Could you imagine? Recent hype says Laravel plus inertia, best targets and stuff you're talking about.
Good, it should be.
Yeah, I know about Laravel and inertia.
This.
I guess like this is petty.
Okay, right. So now I've got this mutable hash set of
Taylor Otwell is like,
and all that we want to do is basically
he's very much like DHH. Like, look at my Lambo, right? Like, it's pretty crazy. Should I be dockerizing my Scratch server? Definitely. Do you go full WASM, ditch HTML and CSS? PHP is too ugly. No, it has dollar signs for the variables. You know you're making money.
This effect ID, right? Running effect.
All right.
So that should be pretty simple, right?
It should be simple.
When we call get now inside this effect, it's going to say, is there a running effect? It's going to check. Okay, it's running inside this effect.
This is actually pretty
It's
cool.
going to add this effect as a subscriber.
Yeah.
Okay, except that when we do create effect, we don't actually set the running effect, right? So let's go in here and let's actually create the effect. So we're gonna do the same thing. Like we have signal values.
Take home assignments for jobs.
Effects, and this should just be a ref cell of probably
I don't know. They're probably fine.
I don't know, boxed in function, right? We're just gonna stash the functions in there, and we're gonna get these function IDs.
I don't know. I've done it before.
We do the same exact thing.
I've done it before. It's fine.
Borrow mute.
I mean, it feels like you know, everyone gets all up in arms about like, oh, I'm doing work for free, but like, I mean, you're not making any money, right? You need a job, right? So it's like
cool.
whatever.
So we've got this effect ID.
The alternative is like how many manhole
what we want
covers
to do is
in New York City, you know?
Effect. So let's actually create a separate thing that we're calling run effect, and it takes an effect.
So I'd rather have if it's leak code or take home, I'd rather have take home.
We want to be able to run an effect over and over. So we want to be kind of separate from the create effect. We do need to run an effect immediately when we create it.
But also, I will say
it
that
needs to immediately run.
Levels.io could not code leak code for his life.
And get it
I will say that.
Okay.
They're just two different skills.
So run effect is going to say something like, let's run the effect. So let's say let effect equals self.effects.borrow.
Yep.
You know, effect ID .0, right? So we're just pulling that function back out of the reactive system, and then let's just call it. And let's see if anything happens. I'm getting, this is just ID. I'm seeing I'm getting one error here at.
No, He's not getting any errors.
Line 12.
He already did.
Create
He-
signal T.
I think he just needs to scroll, right? I already watched this. I'm pretty sure he just needs to scroll. Maybe we'll just fast forward this part because I think he just gets
There are two
lost.
things that we didn't do. One, when we set the value. Here we go.
Wait.
Okay, so now when we has run. T.
It's already cloned. This is where he realizes it.
Isn't that right?
He goes, wait.
Oh, wow, I'm way behind in my... There we go. Okay. Okay,
Dude,
look.
it's so good.
So now we actually see,
I keep
right,
watching this over
the
because I'm
effect has
trying to
run
understand
once,
this.
right? So you see, when we set the initial value, it says not reactive yet.
Pre-watched.
When we create the effect,
Yeah, cold
now
vote,
we're
yes.
immediately running the effect. So it does set the text content, and we do have count.get works. It gives us 0, converts it to a string, and here we go. Okay, so now when we press the buttons, what happens? Absolutely nothing. You still see the logging, the buttons are working, but it's not updating. The reason it's not updating, it is actually updating the value of the signal, and the get is actually subscribing, but if you'll notice, there are two things that we didn't do. One, when we
They're
set
pretty
the value,
bad.
we didn't do
I can't
anything
defend.
to notify those subscribers. And two, when we run the effect, we never actually set runtime.running effect, right?
You don't
so
want
this
a
is
ref
checking
cell?
when you get it, is there a running effect? And the answer is always no, because this is just a cell that contains none.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So instead, when we run an effect, let's set that running effect.
I think the
And you can
idea
think
is
of it
that
like a stack, right? So like there are often
slot map
nested
takes that
effects
away.
because of the way that your application is built.
It's more like
of
ECS,
a
right?
bunch of components running inside components, and things rendering stuff using effects. So it's almost like a stack. So we're going to say previous running effect.
I will say that
self dot running effect.
it would be nice
Running effect
if
dot take. So it's going to
the
take whatever was previously there, which maybe is none, maybe
browser
is some.
vendors built this in.
Then it's just going to say self dot running effect dot
Like
set
give us a reactive system.
some effect ID because we know which
Right.
effect we're running, right? And then we actually run the effect. So we can call this like push effect onto stack, run the effect,
Yeah.
pop effect.
Well,
off
that's what
stack.
leptos
And to
does,
do
I
that,
think.
right, we're just
Still
gonna
to
set
this day.
running effect back to previous running effect, right? Whatever it was beforehand. Okay, so now at least we are getting, this subscription, because when we call get now, when we run the effect, right, the first time, count.get will be called. Count.get is going to check if there's a running effect. There will be now, so it will add this subscription, but it still won't do anything because we're missing the last piece, which is when you actually set something, notifying subscribers. Okay, so here we get into a little bit of stuff that sometimes causes me bug.
I mean, you don't want to put Rust source in the browser. Sergeant Pepper, you don't want to put Rust source in the browser, okay? It only takes 5 minutes to compile, but once you have that binary, it's fast.
That you don't have to worry about, but that has to do with ref cells and overlapping mutable
put
borrows.
cargo in browser.
So if there's anything that's a little bit
It's
rocky
madness.
in the next couple of minutes, sorry about that. But what we need to do, right, is basically get that set of subscribers to this signal. We know which signal we're in. We know that it has some subscribers. So let's go, right?
I
So
think we're
say
over
if
100
let
lines of
sum
code.
subs equals context
Compile cargo.
signal subscribers dot get dot borrow dot get
Dart on the browser. Maybe we just need
Okay, and I
Silverlight.
see I've shot myself in the foot with this several times already. We actually need to do this in a slightly different way. So we're going to say let subs equals self dot signal subscribers borrow dot
Explicit. Scope.
get. Take a reference to self dot ID, and then we're actually going to clone this hash map.
Nice.
And the reason is we just want to pull out the existing set of effect IDs, because underneath here, we're going to rerun all of those. And when they rerun, they're going to want to mutate this set of
Yeah,
subscribers.
Dart and Flutter
because
are
basically-
inseparable, right?
So we set
It's
this
like Ruby and
signal, right?
Rails.
Setting the signal will cause the effect to rerun. Rerunning the effect will get the signal again, and getting the signal is going to want to mutate that set of subscribers. So I'm actually just taking this immutable borrow, cloning this pre-existing set of subscribers, and going about my business, right? So if let sum subs equals subs, for sub in subs, this is subscriptions, right? And then we're just going to do
It's crazy how slow VS Code is.
run effect this sub. and see what happens here. So, yep, great, fine. So this is just one of these intermediate value things with a ref cell.
Classic. There you go.
That it just wants me to assign into a variable,
and
I've
called
named
sub.
it wrong.
There you go.
So it just wants to store this ref inside a variable before I do other work with it.
Nah. The best Rust IDE is honestly Helix.
Subs borrowed.
Or
Subs
NeoVim,
dropped while
I guess.
still borrowed
right.
at 78.
Rust Analyzer, I think it's better than IntelliJ's or
this should be maybe cloned.
JetBrains'.
Yeah, okay. Like the difference between cloning and option,
probably
the
a fork,
reference into the hash
honestly.
set, and doing cloned
Fork of Rust
means
Analyzer.
it's cloned is cloning the hash set, and clone was cloning the option with the reference.
Rustation Vim.
Run effect, good. And now this is just
I haven't tried
the effect
Rustation
ID
Vim
instead of the reference to it. Cool. So this should be
Clang D made an IDE.
And now let's go back in here, and there's a chance this panics, but
they're Ukrainian, right? Are they Ukrainian or are they Russian? I always forget.
So what's mad at us here? Already mutably borrowed at 53.
Ooh, runtime error in Rust? Impossible. What are we even doing?
Great. So the problem is that signal values is...
This is why you use slot map.
Immutably borrowed here in get. And it's being... Let's see. This wrapper is immutably borrowed in the get, right? This value. And it's being mutably borrowed here. And this is, I actually think, as simple as...
Dude.
Wrapping this in its own scope.
Killer.
Before we rerun the effect, because otherwise this borrow mute would be held onto until the end of the set function. We actually only need to hold onto it during this assignment. Wrapping it in braces, right, in Rust makes all these variables go out of scope. It releases this borrow mute.
Oh, fixes the integration.
Cool, okay. All right, so if we refresh now, you'll see -1, -1, -1, and then +1. This goes back up to -6. Right, so it's obvious that they are sharing that value.
Uh-oh.
It is not a case where we've just copied two separate mutable things into closures and now we're mutating these two independent variables. It actually is some shared state in that runtime. And the buttons just work, right? So what was that? That's not bad. That's 131 lines, right? And we've just implemented a basic fine-grained reactive system to drive some web UI rendering. So let's walk through how it actually works, and I'm going to just do one more thing to make it a little more interesting. Let's create another thing, another element that we'll call double.
I think this part's insane.
And let's start with double count here, and then let's create another effect, and that's going to update, and then let's make something, right? Let double count.
That's like, this is the power of signals,
so
right?
Double
versus
count
like
is now
React's
a derived signal, right? It's just a closure that accesses a signal and does some work with it. And you can see in the types, like count is a signal, double count is just
we call it a signal,
an ordinary closure.
Yeah.
So in this one, we're going to just call double count and see what happens. Because I already moved P into this, and what I actually want to be doing, and this is where the seemingly irrelevant errors can actually save you from screwing stuff up. What actually I'm doing is setting the text content on the double paragraph, not the regular one.
Dang.
And I did not actually
React RS. Yeah, it is. No, this is leptos.
Cool. All right, so now we've got these two paragraphs. They're both at 0. And when we click +1,
yeah, that's sick.
You're updating with the double count. Now, importantly, right?
I wish that
this is being driven by one signal.
The API was a little nicer.
Effects.
Like Dioxys's API is much nicer.
Double count is not a signal in the sense of this runtime system, right? It's a derived signal, we call it. It's a closure that accesses signals, but it does not get pushed into this reactive system anywhere. Right, you're not doing create signal, it's not being pushed in here. What's actually happening, right, is you're now accessing this same count signal in multiple different places. So you're creating an effect here. When you call it here, count.get, okay, it adds effect 0 into its dependencies, into its subscribers. Now we're creating a separate effect, which is updating a different thing. and we're calling double count. And when you call double count, calling double count calls count.get. And because you're inside this effect, like being inside the effect is in terms of the execution.
Yeah, it's actually more like
right?
solid.
Not spatially or visually or something.
Not React.
You're still inside this second effect. So it also adds effect, it added effect 0. It's now adding effect 1 into its subscribers.
Hitable, you mean?
So you've got this one signal inside the runtime. And now when you set that signal, it says, okay, great, set the signal. So we actually set the value inside the system. We get out our subscribers, which is now effect 1 and effect 2, or effect 0 and effect 1. And then for each of those subscribers, it reruns it. So now this one signal is independently, via this derived signal, updating 2 different effects. And of course, we don't need to use a derived signal, right? It can just do it by itself. And because it's a copy type, right, this count, we are, now they're just the same thing, right? This count, we can move into this create effect, move into this second create effect,
yes, it's
move
copy.
into this event listener, and move into this other event listener. And every time we move it, all that it's doing is copying this reference to the runtime, this signal ID,
which is
and this doesn't even exist. So it's just copying these 2 things. That's what, like 8 bytes or something. And that's all. And so we can copy these things, we can move them around, we can throw them away. They're just an index into this one stable runtime system. And the runtime system, it's decentralized. There's not like an event loop in this runtime system that's going through and checking values or something. It's just a centralized storage. And then each of the signals and each of the effects kind of manages its own need to rerun or need to update its subscribers by using these stable IDs into that system. So this is
I've never been a
how
designer.
we've managed to have such a nice developer experience, right, with being able to just copy and move this signal type everywhere, because it's just a static reference into the runtime system. And this leak, by the way, this is not a memory leak in a traditional sense. We're leaking one.
Oh, he's talking about it again. All right. So that's pretty much it, right? That's the whole thing. It's actually really kind of a simple system. I mean, 100 something lines in Rust is like, it's got to be simple, right? But yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, the thing about leptos though is this seems good if you're doing like spa mode, right? And I think some of these Rust ones, you can kind of, I don't know how to do this anymore. Hold on. I don't know how to do this. So if you go to like the, not the docs, if you go to GitHub, right? Am I still zoomed in on this? I don't even know. Let's bring up a keyboard. Yeah, I mean, doing UI is it takes the longest for me personally. It's a lot. How do I do this? There we go. Oh, there we go. All right. So if you look at this example, right, this is, I think, where it kind of falls apart. So here's the state of the art kind of, right? So this is, this is like I don't want to say isomorphic. This is, so the first thing it does is first of all, look at all this, right? And second is if you go here to lib, right? So you've got this component, right? And it looks okay. Actually, this does look okay. But I think the problem is that you've got to have all these feature flags here, and we've got fallback, which is a thing. I don't know. I feel like this should all be hidden, I guess, right? Oh, this is just stuff. Maybe it's actually not that bad. I look at this every time and I'm like, maybe it's not that bad. I don't know. Hold on, I gotta go pee. Hold on. I'm really falling apart. Okay, that was riveting. Just complete silence. Okay, let me turn the music back on. All right. But yeah, I would love this. I would love if this was just a little nicer, you know? Okay, configuration, cargo toml. I don't know. Did I get a Moonlander? I got a Voyager. I got this one. I mean, I would show you honestly, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. Let me see. Hold on. What is this? Voyager? ZSA. Clearly, I've been using it, right? ZSA. Yeah, it's yeah. This one right here. It's this. Yeah. I'll show it to you. It's fine. I got it on these mounts. I got it on these mounts. It's pretty crazy. Oh my gosh, these magnets. Okay. So like this is it right here, right? Um yeah. It's pretty cool. I I think I want to turn off the RGB, but yeah, it's like so thin. Do you see how thin that is? Yeah. Yeah, it's like a yeah. I tried the kinesis. I couldn't do it. The curve, like, it bugs me. It was actually like I think my hands are too big. Um, because I was like constantly trying to like reach into that concave piece. It wasn't good. All right, but I would love to like implement this leptos thing. But I guess we can look at their. This is what I said we were gonna do. They got rid of context in 0.5, which I didn't even know they released 0.6. Let's look at the releases. Moonlander, the RGB constantly changes. Change layer and then hit a bunch of keys that changes the color. Yeah. I'm almost like not sold on this custom keyboard thing, but you know, I'm already deep in it, so whatever. Where's the oh, there. All right, let me see. So here's all the releases, I think. Okay. So let's see. I do like that they've done some work on this spread stuff because this gets like it gets rid of a lot of pain. I have to change hitmul to like follow them. Um I'll show you like what I think leptos should look like, and I wonder if I can just use leptos. Okay, so here's 0.6. Oh, that's not even. Okay. Let's actually just find the release, right? Let's go like tags, right? Zero. Whoops. Jeez. Oh my gosh. 0.5, right? I'm still looking down. Can we do that? Is that fine? Oh, it didn't even do it. Oh, I see. Here, let's just go here. Where is it though? Oh, here we go. Okay, so goodbye scope, right? That's what I'm talking about. So they got rid of this quite a while ago, right? Copy R static, therefore easy to use with closures and event listeners and 100% safe for Rust. Leptos allocates memory for signals in an arena. When is it safe? A dedicated scope, right? Yeah, that was like the worst part of. Okay, so now it's everywhere, right? Also, islands is good, right? And I really like Dino. The layer switching is great. Having code symbols like next to my index middle finger on a second layer is a lot nicer. Yeah, so I have it here on the left, but honestly, my symbols layout needs work. Like I'm I'm constantly having to like do I am using my pinky ring fingers for paren still, but I don't know why. Like I'm starting to think like it'd be better to to move the arrows to a different layer entirely because I have this control layer and it's just basically control stuff for the Mac. And then this is not a layer. This is like command, but I think I'm going to make this another layer that has arrow keys. And then this will be parens and stuff in the home row, you know? But I definitely remapped, like I hit colon a lot more than semicolon. So I remapped that. But yeah, I also like, do you use double tap at all? Because I like the double tap feature. I was moving pretty fast with it. But then I changed the timing and it's definitely not great. I'm not like a keyboard person, so I don't actually know what I'm doing. Let me see. Islands? Yeah, so islands was another thing, which is what I was talking about. Let's actually go in here. Let's go back. Let's go back actually. Um, let's go goodbye scope. So we can okay, to create a leak memory. Okay, so the solution was to do what I should have been doing a year ago and merge the memory allocation function of scope into the reactive graph itself, which already handles, but SolidJS handles through a concept of reactive ownership. Disposing is really just a case of cleanup on an effect or memory running. Essentially, rather than being owned by a scope, is now owned by its parent. Okay. If it's an untracked, there's no reactive observer, but the blah, blah, blah. Every time, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This makes sense. As a signal will be owned, it must be created during the previous run and will be recreated as needed during the next run. So this is perfect time to dispose. The wild thing with typing is how it's all muscle memory. It works, but once a day your mind blanks and you go, okay, just let your finger try, and that works. That is true though. That is true. Like honestly, on the QWERTY, I was probably consistently 140, 120 to 140 WPM. Doesn't matter if symbols, whatever, right? But I mean, this is still QWERTY, but like on a regular keyboard, I guess, right? But yeah, that is true. Like sometimes I'm like thinking and I'm like, wait, I'm just going to hit this key. Yeah. But I think the thing is you got to stop changing your layout too. Eventually you have to come to a point where it's like, this is good enough. And you kind of just have to just learn that, right? And so I've had this keyboard for about a week, I think, a week and a half. And I'm kind of getting there. My WPM is pretty low. It's like 50. But yeah, I'm getting there. I just had to stop messing. This is like I don't even know how many layouts I've gone through. Let's see. So this is kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. I feel like it's just like a hack on HTML because it sucks. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should just let the pros do what they're gonna do, you know, and I should just give up. What do I do here? What is it? This? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah. Oh my gosh, what in the world? This is more like what I kind of want, right? Like this launch does a bunch of stuff in the background. Um, yeah, and the cargo tunnel's a lot simpler. But I think it'd be even simpler if we did the target arch instead of feature flags. Maybe it's impossible. I don't actually know. Where's full stack? There it is. So let's look at the cargo. Yeah. Server function, JSON URL browser, server macro, Axum. I mean, the whole goal of this is to ship fast. And I did ship like a little bit with this, but I kind of got bogged down back in 0.3 when I wanted to get away from like live view. But live view is definitely kind of like the best of all worlds as long as the latency isn't bad. But yeah, sometimes you just need that extra boost. Yeah. I mean, I guess there is Alpine, right? HTMX and Alpine, I mean. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of want content security policy, so then I'm back to writing JavaScript. I mean, I write JavaScript for work every day. Maybe I shouldn't be complaining. Yeah. Okay, so they are doing target arch here, right? And not, oh, they all have feature flags too. Okay. Okay, so they use feature flags. I server? Where's SSR? That's interesting. I wonder because I thought they were using leptos. Skill issue. What's up, Nightshade? I love how you just come in and just say skill issue. Like, how is it not hello? How's it going? You know? Let me see. Sorry, JSON. Um, this is a lot. I guess because they're just like showing it off. Maybe we should actually set one up. Let's try it. Dioxys has changed. Let's actually try it. Like if I had to choose between the two, I would choose Dioxys, even though it's multi-platform and I'm focused on the web. Let's actually set it up, right? Um, let's do a quick let's do this hello world, right? So what do? What does it say? There's a getting started, right? There's a Rust analyzer. Is there a okay? So there's Dioxys CLI. Is there a way to format the RSX macro? I think that was like where I was quite annoyed, but maybe it just does it because it's kind of like a struct. I mean, Leptos has that Leptos format thing, which is pretty cool. All right, let's just do it. Right. This is my crappy implementation of signals. Let's see. Going back to lurking. All right. I'm gonna try this real quick, and then I'm gonna jump. Cargo. What am I doing? Oh, cargo install. Whoops. Let's just copy because I'm actually quite curious. But I feel like as you get more and more into it, the complexity like goes up a lot. Like if I look at this example, this is nice, right? This is pretty cool. And not only that, this bit here, if I can zoom in, this little guy right here is this renders on the server first, and then it re-renders on the client. So at first you get the count, so you get the count from the server, right? And then server data is like, well, actually, I'm not even sure about this. Where is the count? Get server data. Oh, it returns a string hello from the server. So at first it says count.value, which I don't know what it is. Here, I'm not actually sure about this example. But here we can see here. Let's see. Full stack prelude. Okay. Server data is count.value. It's a string. And I think it just says hello from the server. And then it now when you load the page, you say hello from the server. No need to wait for WASM. Yeah, so it runs the server function initially, and it's just like regular server side rendered HTML, which is like insane, right? Like this is. I mean, I think the thing about Rust is like you can sort of write your own compiler, which is like what we're doing now in the web, right? We're like React 19. What is it? They say, oh, it's a compiler, right? And that's exactly what it has been already with JSX. But you don't have to have this like weird, let's shift everything and like have like custom stuff. It could just be just Rust, right? For the most part. All right. So let me see. What else do I have to do here? Getting started. Okay. DX new. All right. Let's do it. I also like that it's called DX. Oh no, what happened? Failed to compile? Oh no. Oh no, what did I do? Inline const is experimental. Do I have to do nightly? Maybe I did something wrong here. Let me see. Introduction. I think I have to use nightly. Rust up. What is the version? How do I list the stuff? Installed toolchains. Whoops. Dude. That's also the biggest thing that I had to like get used to. Oh, it's list. Oops. Jeez. Jeez. And list. Okay, so I've got. Oh, I'm super old. Oh, I'm super outdated, right? Update. There we go. 179. Let's see if I can do it now. Trying to manage two computers is like a bummer. Okay. But yeah, we're going. We're installing Rust 179, which has this weird const thing that I don't know what it's for. Oh, it's like it's doing everything. It's doing nightly too, huh? Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, there we go. Okay, perfect. All right, so we got stable, Linux, Mac, nightly Mac. Okay, perfect. So if we just do like a quick tool chain default, tool chain, right? So you can see how slow I am, right? Is it tool chain default? No, it's rust up, dude. Okay, let me see. Rust up tool chain. It's not even tool chain, right? It's something else. It runs WebAssembly on the client and it uses JavaScript for WAS and bindgen. Yeah, that is correct. Let's see, default. Okay, so it's stable. Okay, that's fine. All right. So let's try it again. Right? This is a skill issue. Okay, Nightshade's right. All right. It's not Dioxys, it's just me. Okay, 100% skill issue. Okay. It's always a skill issue. You know, it's never like, hey, like, I did this cool thing. It works the first try. All right, let me see. I mean, it's also possible that the AI people have it right, and maybe we're not supposed to interact with computers how we're interacting with them, and it should be much, much higher level. And the majority of humans just aren't good at this, like, bit twiddling stuff, you know? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, programming's hard. Like, I've been doing it for so long, but I'm still not. I still make mistakes. You know, you would think after a while you just stop making mistakes, no more bugs, but it's not the case, right? Maybe we just need Siri. You know, come in here, tell us what's up. Um, of course, I do think there's like less hype around ChatGPT, and I think it definitely found its use, which is like writing English papers and like children's bedtime stories. But yeah, I mean, without a even Copilot, I feel like kind of got is like less now. Like the hype is gone. But I guess if you're writing the same thing over and over again, Copilot's still pretty good. And I think a lot of code is quite boilerplatey. I try hard to like put stuff behind macros, but there's trade-offs there too. What is Railwind? I have never seen. This is an insane amount of crates. This is yeah. Now I'm remembering why. But I mean, the thing is, if you want to make an app, like there's a minimum like thing that you're gonna do, like because you need auth, you need like sessions, database, um, all this rendering stuff that makes it nice for you, right? Yeah, I mean, it's not like you get it for free, right? Um, we got it. It's almost like you need all this stuff, right? And so that's why it's funny, like when someone starts a new Rails project or a new Laravel project, and they go, "What are all these files doing here?" It's like, well, I mean, you're going to need them at some point, right? So you either write it yourself or, But I do think there is room for improvement, though. There's always room for improvement, right? I can't just say like, oh, Laravel and inertia, it's the best. But maybe I should do a head to head between Dioxys full stack and Laravel and Rails, right? Maybe I should actually do that one day. That might be pretty cool to see the difference. So it'd be Laravel inertia, Rails hotwire, right? Um, Dioxys full stack. Um, maybe I'll throw in my own thing. Maybe a Gleam Luster full stack. Ugh, Gleam. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll throw in Gleam and then just do my own. Do my own. I gotta do some self promotion. Ride and HTMX and Alpine. Some Hitml. All right, so it installed now with stable Rust. So that's good. So let's go down here finally. DX new. Right, here we go. We are ready. DX new. All right, we're gonna do web. Wait, no, we're not gonna do web. We're not doing web. Hold on, sorry. That was my fault. That was my fault. Control C. Whoops. Here, let's try it again. DX new. All right, full stack is the thing, right? Full stack. We'll do DX example, right? Or we'll do like FS example, right? Should the application use the Dioxys router? True is set for us. So let's just Weewa. Dude, could you imagine? Straight up Weewa doing web requests. Oh my gosh. That would be insane. How do you want to create CSS? It's got to be Tailwind. Okay. All right, sweet. That's pretty nice. Dang, Dioxys has come a long way. All right, so fs dash example, right? Let's see what we got here. Okay. Let's add everything, right? Can I do this? Add a. Let's just do my quick J. Oh, I don't have what do I do? Control R, SSH. There we go. All right, you guys can see all my stuff. I don't care. All right, so let's do Control L. Try again. J. There we go. Perfect. It did actually commit. All right. Let's see. Let's see what's in cargo here. It's looking good. My email's here, which is not great, but whatever. We'll just delete it since they're already here. What do I do here? This. All right, there we go. Perfect. Okay, let's see. Surdy. Yeah. We gotta fix Surdy. Like the macro itself, like needs to. You shouldn't have to include it in the. Yeah. We gotta fix it. I know there's a way to like point Surdy at like a certain thing, but yeah, it's definitely a bummer. All right, so we got tracing, which is nice. Dioxys has their own logger, which Ride should have, but it does not. So we got full stack and router, Surdy. Okay, so this tracks with what we just did. And then we've got no default, Axum on the server, Dioxys on the web, right? Let's check out the Dioxys toml, right? Web, dist, assets, cool. Reload HTML. Of course, I really want to try the hot reload, right? But I don't think it's ready yet. Okay, so we've got like a main CSS, even though I said Tailwind. Strange. Also, I don't have my dev environment set up for this, for Tailwind to like read the stuff. But let's see what it says. Okay, so getting started, right? Full stack. Okay. All right. So let's see. Hello world, right? Or it's probably this, right? So router. Okay. Main. Okay. Oof, look at that. That's crazy. All right, so we've got the logger, right? So here's the router. There's a lot of derives happening. We've got a route here and a route here, which is cool. Okay, and then we've got, okay, cool. I like that this is typed as well, right? Typed router, looking good. Okay, so we render the router. Okay. And then we're launching, okay, that makes sense. And then we've got counter. Yeah, this is sweet. This is really nice. Okay, so let's do, so then we've got some server data, right? Oh, so we've got a post and we've got, okay. All right, so I'm already set up just to try this before I jump. Okay, let me see. So let's do, what do we do? DX serve, right? Is that what I do? Let's do it. Here we go. More compiling, of course. Oh, I saw something with slab. Oh, Bumpalo's in there? I think it's compiling the front end and the back end in parallel. Is this what I'm looking at? This is insane. I didn't know you could do that. But I guess you just start to yeah, I guess when you are in control of the CLI, of course you can run two cargo processes, right? Yeah. I realize now that like you can't actually use cargo to do this stuff. You actually do need your own CLI, right? We're essentially like bootstrapping a web language from Rust, which seems really hard. And it's like different because you've got like Wasp lang, right? Web or something, right? Oh, Perplexity. Why am I doing this to myself? All right, so you've got like this. Oh, that's not it. No, that's not it. It's something else. It's like a Wasp like framework. There we go. So it's like this like strange thing, but it's cool, I guess. Uh, so you can write React stuff, and then you can like do server stuff, and it's very like declarative. So you sort of like lay out your components and your express functions, I guess. I don't know what it is. In this Wasp thing, and then they like compile it for you. So this is kind of what we're doing with Rust, but it's not as explicit, I guess, right? It's like more implicit because we still want Rust. But yeah, it's definitely like Wasp has always been a strange thing, and I don't actually know if anyone's using it. It's like a meta layer on top of your stuff. It's definitely a interesting thing to make it explicit this way. But I don't know if this is good, right? Especially, I don't know if it's good, especially because like it's hard to make something better when everyone just uses the same old stuff, you know? All right, what do I do? Command? How do I get this to go? What do I do? What am I doing here? Oh, I can't even. Okay. All right. Let's load it. Localhost. All right. 8080. If I could hit 8, right? 8080. There we go. All right. So that was pretty quick, right? Let's open up the console. All right. So let's open this up again. So we've got some stuff, right? We'll look at the HTML here. There's Tailwind, right? There's a main here. Okay. Oh, look at this. The link component has some attributes on it for, can I zoom in on this? It has some attributes on it for client-side routing. Interesting. All right, so let's get server data. Hello from the server. All right, so we can see that. We can see that here, post server data. And it's sent. All right. Okay. This hasn't changed that much. Okay, so let me see. We've got hello from the server. Right. And then we sent response was nothing, right? Cool. Wait, it echoed what we okay. All right, that's interesting. It just did nothing, right? We just sent a request. All right, so then we could do this, right? And this does not have, there's no requests being sent, right? Let me like do this a little bit. There we go. So now there's like no request being sent, right? Okay. I mean, there's not much I can. Oh, it's actually making the request to both get and post. Oh, right here. If get started. Oh, I see. Okay, I see. So then if we're looking at the logs, we can see here server received hello from server, right? Okay. So let's go back here, right? Yeah. I mean, I can't even complain. Like this is honestly wait, blog post 0. Oh, I see. Go to counter. Go to blog. Blog 5. Okay. That's a strange. What is the route doing? Oh, it's just showing off dynamic data. Blog ID. And so here we're saying, oh, the count is the ID. Okay. All right. This is pretty cool that it's a function though. That's actually really cool. But if you have text, what does it do? Where's text? Text.set. Okay. So for some reason, what if I just did text? How do you show the text? Let's not do a button. Let's just do a div, right? What would I do here? Oops. What would I do here? Just like text? Oops. What did I do to my syntax highlighting? I don't know what happened. Oh, there we go. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it reloaded. Okay. I think I even reloaded the browser. Okay, so text is, oh, I see. Okay, so you can do that. Okay. So we can set the text from, we can just click we can have another button, right? That's, we could just say like, client text. Dang, this is actually really, really sick. This is like so close to what my like ideal, oops, text set. Oh my gosh, this freaking keyboard. I gotta learn it, you know. Hello from client. All right. Oh, so it did load it, right? Wait, what am I doing? Didn't I say set to down low? Client text? Oh, there we go. It took a second. Okay. That's sick. That's sick. It takes a few weeks. I tried the 360 Pro. So I went straight into like from Magic Keyboard, right? I went straight to Kinesis split, like ortholinear, concave, like it was madness. I couldn't do it. I like the Voyager. I really like it. And I like my mounting system. I got it basically looks like this. Hold on, can I let's see here. We got oh my gosh. I always mess that up too. Oh man. All right. ZSA Voyager desk mount or something. And it comes up like this. Yeah, it's like this. It's effectively this, right? This is a little nicer than mine. Shoot, maybe I should have wait, what in the world? Oh my gosh. Yeah, maybe I should have got these mounts instead. I like the tripods too, but oh, I like this better.
My God! Okay, it's happening.
Oh, Metamy. Shoot, 56. What in the world? What's up? What's up, Metamy? What's going on? Dude, I'm getting raided. Oh, man. Look, this is a chill stream, all right? Like, I'm not out here, okay? I'm drinking coffee, okay? But Metamy, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Dang, that's a lot of people. It is meta. Dude, that little thing is like so funny. Uh, shoot, I was thinking about just leaving too. Dang it! Now I gotta stay. How do I do this? What do I do? Shout out? I can't even type on this keyboard. Is there 4? There's 4. All right, Metamy, I appreciate it. Okay. We were just going over Dioxys and leptos. Wait, I'm missing the I don't understand what that means. So I thought I'd make you stay longer. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's great. Anyway, this is what my keyboard looks like now. It's almost, well, it's not white, it's the black one, but yeah. I do like this C clamp better than mine. It's so much cleaner. Mine's like a weird tripod thing. It looks like an alien, you know? But yeah. I didn't do this chair mount. This chair mount's like grandma's boy. You know what I mean? This chair mount is not, I'm not into this, you know? I'm already weird enough. Like, yeah, Voyager. Yep. Yeah. If you don't know what I mean by grandma's boy, I mean, jeez, I hit R. 100x devs? Yeah. I'm definitely not a 100x dev, that's for sure. Like, if I know about grandma's boy, I'm talking about this. Grandma's boy, JP, like office chair, keyboard. Oh, I'm still in, I can't even type. Look at how bad this is. There we go. Oh my gosh. I couldn't even type the R. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, that's like, I feel like you're only one step away. So like, here's JP in his office, right? I feel like you're only one step away from this, right? Like, if you get a keyboard mount, it's like, it's not looking good for you, right? I can't even, oh, jeez. All right, hold on. I can't even zoom in on this. Yeah, it's not looking good. You know what I mean? You're just a few steps. If you had robot ears, yeah, exactly. Is ours not enough to tell anyone? I need a chair. Pick, you definitely need a chair. I didn't know how to type. Wow. Look, give me my magic keyboard. We'll be going at it, okay? But yeah, the chair mount is too much. But this is pretty cool. I like this. Even this is a lot though, you know? This is a lot. I might just go back to the regular keyboard at this point. But yeah, Metamy, what were you? Are you still here? Type Royale? No, it's not. It's a terrible time. We can go to monkey type though, right? If you want to see. Oh my gosh, how bad it is, right? Oh man, dude, this is terrible. There. Did I go monkey type? I didn't even do it. I don't even know what I just did. Dude, the split is getting me. Is it .com? There we go. I can't even I know this is how bad it is. See, I've like, this is terrible. It's gonna take me a year to learn this stupid thing, right? Oh, dude, are you kidding? There, how? Oh, dude, is it, like, look how bad this is. Ooh, oh. Look, Nightshade, if you ever wanted to see some skill issues, this is it. Also, look how slow I am. Do you see how slow this is? I'm like trying to do some accuracy, right? Oh, dude. 0.1 x dev. Okay, that's what that looks like. It took me 2 weeks to get used to the ergodocs. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a week. Yeah, it's been about a week. Like a little bit less than a week because I haven't really been using it that much. A DVNO camel? Nice. Wait, are you making a database or are you doing like a SQL interface thing in OCaml? Jordan Belfort.
Hello, Peter.
Dude, are we about to do some shady Wall Street trades? You're making a database? Okay, that's cool. Like relational key value? Like what are we talking here? I could never actually type faster on my ergodocs. Oh, shoot. It feels like your mind is exploding. Oh, faster than your regular keyboard? Ooh. That's a deal breaker for me, honestly. I created a DV. It was very easy. Pick. I'm sure you did. Okay. With all that Haskell, you know, that are way too involved. Yeah, that's true. It's just a simple KV. Okay. MongoDB.json. Dude, so simple. So simple. Yeah, it's definitely not like you can't use MongoDB. All right. What is this? Like, it's weird. I said something on Twitter the other day and someone was like, oh, you don't use MongoDB? I'm like, I thought that died like 12 years ago. What? People are actually out here using Mongo. It blows my mind. You get job offers from Mongo? Shoot. It's crazy. Can I go to the thing? Like, what is this link? Is this a link? What is this on the side? Oh, shoot. It's like a history within the history. It's crazy, man. They're still going. 19 minutes ago? Let's see the joins. Can we see joins in Mongo? Because I remember that wasn't a thing. Platform, resources. What is Atlas? Okay. We don't want that. We just want guides. CRUD. Perfect. Read data with query. Okay, let's read data with queries. How else would you read the data? Okay, let me see. Collection planets. Find. Okay, that's like a where clause. And then you can iterate over that in memory. Oh, no, it's a cursor. Okay. Close call. Close call. Let me see. Multiple criteria. Okay. What else? How do we match an embedded or nested array? Shoot. We're getting into it. Aggregation operations. I remember aggregations were not good. Map reduce. Where are the joins? I'm so confused by this. You got a MongoDB aggregate queries? Yeah. You do Oh, okay. That's what it is. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Wait, that is the joins. Okay. That's the join. Okay. I kind of vaguely remember this now. Okay. So this is already like Galaxy Brain, right? The fact that they're called aggregation ops and there's like pipelines. This is the preferred method. Okay. So there's stages. You can't just say join. There have to be stages. Okay, so orders aggregate, right? The following aggregation pipeline example contains 2 stages and returns the total order quantity of medium-sized pizzas grouped by a pizza name. Okay, so match size medium group total quantity, right? Match size medium group name. Filter pizza by pizza size, group remaining documents. I mean, I guess it's not horrible, right? It's just really weird, but okay. Aggregation pipeline. Yeah. Okay, insert a bunch. So, okay, we did this already. Dang, look at this beautiful JSON. Actually, it's JavaScript. Look at this beautiful JavaScript. These JavaScript objects, or I guess they call it BSON. Is that what they call it? But the rest of the DB is the aggregation pipeline thing isn't that bad. Yeah, it's BSON. Yeah, that's what I said. It's just perfect and it's the best thing ever. Is it really? There's no reason for them to make a join API? Apparently not. The cool thing about Mongo is you can scale up or down as long as you don't care about data integrity. Who cares about data integrity, right? Oh, you're memeing? Okay. Yeah, this is this is like really gross. Like honestly, I'm not into this. It's crazy that I don't like SQL, but honestly, this is much better. Like SQL's much better than this. Yeah, I think before all you had was MapReduce, right? Oh, it's deprecated? Yeah, when I was using this, I think I had to do this. I had to do all this stuff. And it was horrible, and we migrated to Postgres. Like I was at a startup and the first thing we did was migrate to Postgres. Integrity tremendous. It's true. You're an ad tech? Yeah, we don't need integrity. I'm an ad tech. We don't need that. All you need in ad tech is data science. That's it. As long as you can get the events straight to your data lake, that's all you need. Okay? That's all you need. I'm going to try this one more time, and then I'm going to jump. Oh, my gosh. I'm actually doing better. Right? Oh, frick. I always overreach on that. It's like I want to reach across the thing. If I don't get faster than my my magic keyboard, I don't know. Like, what's the point? Right? The point is to be faster, right? Freaking A. Jeez. Better. Yeah, peace. I used it for 8 years, and we've never had any type of data integrity issues. Oh, shoot. Sergeant Pepper clapping back. The point is not to wreck your wrist with RSI. I mean, I guess. I don't have that, though, right? I guess it's like the same text. Maybe that's why I'm doing better, right? I mean, if I don't get back up to 100, dude, I really got to practice at this, right? There's not even symbols in here. Dude, oh my gosh. I'm trying to go faster. I think it's the keys too are like different. I couldn't even do it. Dang. This is madness. Yeah, I never had RSI, but yeah. All right, so let me see. So this is so like if you're thinking about like Dioxys, oh, you know what? Let's clear this actually. Let's make another quick button to clear this, right? We'll just set it to nothing, right? There we go. Dude. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's see. We'll just call it clear client text, right? All right. It's like I'm faster at some things, but not at others. So it's kind of like, I don't know. But yeah, dang. I mean, this is pretty much what I need. Like, this pretty much does what I want. So maybe I should just stop messing around and start shipping, right? Just got to start shipping, you know? I wonder how you do global state in global. I've got Gleam. Oh, jeez. I can't do this. Dioxys. Global state. Does it say this? Oh, this is the old one. Maybe there's maybe it's not in the docs. The first thing I ever want to do is like, how do I not do component state, right? Just pass your values as props, of course. Use context. Oh, maybe this is in maybe
Hello,
this isn't
Peter.
the thing.
What's
Kaleshi.
happening?
Welcome. I am gonna jump pretty soon though. Let me see. If you wait until you feel RSI, oh really? I can't use a normal keyboard without pain? Shoot. That's crazy. All right, well, I don't want to wind up that way, right? How do I do this? 0? There. All right, so let's see. Learn. Where's state? The only thing we ever want in React land is where's global state? That's it. Just give me the global. I don't care. Okay. I want one component to change the thing of another component. I don't want to like use context or freaking pass it up the thing, right? I don't want to pass it up the chain. That's why I'm almost thinking like maybe we just want. Okay, let's see. Working with non-reactive state. Okay, making reactive state external. If you have some state and you want to modify from another thread, you can use signal that is sync. Use signal sync. Use hook, spawn the thread, update the signal from a different thread. Okay, that's pretty sick. Okay, but what about this? Coroutines are a great tool for dealing with state that you don't render directly. Okay. You can store your state inside. I don't think that's really what composing hooks. To avoid repetition, encapsulate in a hook, blah, 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 consume context. Maybe this is. What's an anti-pattern? Oh, you know what? Let's go down here because Fermi was the thing. have been replaced with global signals and included in the main the new global signals can be used directly without hooks. All right. Include additional functionality like global memos. Perfect. Perfect. React in the title got my attention, my friend. Have a nice day. I'm a beginner front-end geek. Oh yeah, I meant like react as in react to this video, right? We were watching this, right? I've been streaming for a while. Let's see, like that. We were watching this, right? And I don't know why that URL is so gross, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, I meant like watching that video, which I did. Okay. Let me think about this. Signal global? Can I go back with the mouse? No, I can't. All right, so global signal. Dang, this is nice. Oh, man. Copy and clone types the same way? Dude, this is nice. You don't need to use init atom root. Oh, shoot. All you got to do is dereference with the right. Dude, this is it right here. Global memos. Computed values. I don't know if I would use derived values ever, but yeah, why not? All right. I did not know about Signal Global. This sells me on it. Honestly, this is all you ever want, right? Like just do the thing, right? Just render the thing. Honestly, this isn't exactly the API I want, but to tell you the truth, all right, I'm down. I'm back on the Dioxys train. We're gonna ship. All right, maybe next stream we'll start shipping. I should raid. I should do more raiding because we have to keep the raid train going. What did I just do? I just hit something on my keyboard and like I don't even know how to use this thing. Who's here? Let's see. Let's stop the music. And we will raid because I do actually have to eat. I do have to do work today, right? Amazing. Incredible that I have to earn money. Such a weird concept. In today's day and age, yeah. I've never used a keyboard before. Thanks, Metame. Thanks. I appreciate it. All right, let's see. Who's here? Who's here? I'm sorry for the quick raid situation. Raid algo bro. Oh, you know what I just realized? My lights aren't on this whole time. I was like, man, it's really dark in here. Usually when I'm streaming, it's much brighter, right? So I just turned the lights on. Now it's a real professional stream, right? Look at that. Look how much nicer that is, right? I did that whole stream with no lights. All right, let's do algo bro. Oh, we could do this. Yeah, I like this. How am I not following? C++. Shoot. Oh, ads. Heck no. How long is this? 27 seconds? Dude, what? My Mac is like done. All right, let's close this stuff. Tim is cool? Yeah. Let's raid. Oh, wait till the ad's over so I can actually talk. 11 seconds? All right. It's going to take me 11 seconds to type this, so that's good. I need more tabs? No. Freedom Dow, come in here, first time chatter. Tell me how many tabs I need. Don't tell me how many tabs I need. All right, let's see. Indie game dev wannabe pretends to work on... What is this? Oh. Pretends to work and stuff. Does he not talk?
I'm going to try going Vim.
Oh, there we go. Okay. I was like, what? Oh, he's just concentrating. Okay. Estimated.
Orange Lua.
We gotta,
Oh, I'm sorry. Why is it zoomed in? I shouldn't be zoomed in. We're not in Visual Studio. We're...
okay.
Yeah, thank you.
We're gonna raid.
Okay.
All right. What is little keyboard? Oh, submit to
We
runtime
have
key here.
a...
Okay, hold on. All right, look. This I gotta explain this first. Metamy, we'll see ya, but I gotta explain this first. This is the ZSA Voyager, right? So like this is it comes with Oryx, right? Which is their thing. Here, I'll show you the keyboard, right? So like here's what it looks like, right? That's the actual keyboard, right? It's pretty cool, right? It's split. So there's two halves, right? And they're connected by this TRRS. I use telepathy. Yeah. You got to use telepathy. That's the way to do it. So like here's like the two halves, right? We do that? There we go. Yeah. It called the Telekey 5000. Isn't that just called a Neuralink though? Right? I gotta put this back on the magnet. Oh shoot. Where is it? There it is. All right. Yeah. Right? Is that cool? Yeah, so that's what you're seeing in the top right. And I have it like mounted on my desk like a weirdo. And we were talking about that before, but yeah, so the thing about these custom keyboards submit to Rome is that you can, so you know how you hit shift or you hold shift and all the keys become caps lock, right? Neuralink is whack. You have to do brain surgery. It runs on ChatGPT Alpha, non-invasive PCI, brain computer interface. All right, so you know how you hold shift and it becomes capital. So they extend that to everything, and you can customize your own layers. So you can like make your own shift. So when I hold down, there's two thumb keys, right? And so when I hold down the right thumb key, I've made this symbol layer for myself. And so it becomes symbols. So here, like all the programming stuff is on the home row, right? And there's like arrows for selecting LSP stuff, right? And then there's like parens and stuff, right? So I have to like reach less from the home row. And also the keys are ordered in columns instead of rows. So QWERTY's like rows and they're staggered, but this one's staggered in the shape of a hand and you go up and down, right? In columns. So then I have another layer that's like different, right? And then I have a third layer that's also different. But it's like finding the balance between how many layers and like what makes you productive. So yeah, I don't know. I still haven't found that balance yet, but we're going to raid. All right. It was fun. I'll be back sometime next week. But yeah, thanks for the raid, Metamy. If you're still here, I appreciate it. But all right, we're going to raid. Is this right? Did I do that? How do you say that? Bidet? Probably not bidet.
Home
right?
development undefined.
Probably not
Oh,
that.
why are we on undefined?
Oh my gosh, what in the world?
That's a
Gotta
bad
put the
one,
entity.
dude.
All right. Be back
Search.
next week sometime.
Firebites.
Thanks for Hackor stream. Yeah, no problem. All right, bye.
You don't exist anymore, but yeah, this needs to be updated.